Sometimes, everything that seems healthy to us turns out to be a hidden trap. Take for example, ordinary chicken eggs. Since childhood, we've been taught that they are a source of protein, vitamins, strength for the muscles and energy for the whole day. People boil them, fry them, beat them, add them to salads, dough and even rejuvenating masks. And it all seems perfectly fine, if not for one important nuance. There's something that many people prefer not to talk about. The older we get, the more our bodies change. What was harmless in your 20s can become a problem after 60, and eggs are no exception. Yes, they remain beneficial, but only on one condition: if you don't make certain mistakes. Mistakes that, unfortunately, almost everyone makes every day for many years. The problem is that the harm from these habits doesn't appear immediately. It accumulates slowly and imperceptibly. One wrong breakfast, and nothing happens. But when the same habit repeats over years, it can quietly undermine your health from the inside, raising bad cholesterol, triggering blood pressure spikes, worsening the condition of your blood vessels, and even affecting memory and the brain. The eggs themselves are not to blame. Mistakes are the real enemy. And these are everyday, simple mistakes, so common that we don't even notice when we make them. But as the body becomes more sensitive with age, these small details start to matter. Especially for those who already face heart problems, vascular disease, diabetes, or excess weight. Today, I will explain exactly which mistakes turn eggs from a friend into an enemy, especially for older people. Some points may surprise you, and one of them is truly unexpected, even for those who have followed a healthy diet for years. Be sure to watch the video until the end. It could change the way you see your usual breakfasts. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important topics about health. Here, I discuss what really affects quality of life, without complicated terms but with deep meaning. And now let's move on to the first point. Trust me, your eyes will already start to open. First, we cook them the wrong way, harming ourselves. On the skillet, with a golden crust, the smell of childhood and warmth, that's how perfect eggs look to many. Sunny side up, scrambled eggs with a crispy edge. But behind this appetizing picture often hides a problem, especially for older people. It's about the method of preparation. When we fry eggs on high heat, especially with a lot of oil, the protein and yolk lose part of their beneficial properties. Overheating creates substances that can irritate the stomach lining, worsen digestion and cause belching and heaviness. This is particularly dangerous if you have gastritis, pancreatitis, or a tendency to heartburn. Moreover, ordinary sunflower oil, when overheated, starts to release so-called trans fats. They penetrate cells, disrupt metabolism, increase levels of bad cholesterol, and provoke inflammatory processes in the body. And for people over 60, this is not just a theory, it's a real risk of heart attacks, strokes and other cardiovascular problems. Even if you use butter, the problem remains. It also doesn't tolerate overheating. Many people think, I'll just fry them a little, it's nothing. But the body remembers every little thing like this, and one day it can respond with a sudden spike in blood pressure or pain in the side after eating. There's another nuance. When fried, eggs become heavy to digest. This doesn't mean you can't eat them. You can and should, but the way you cook them makes all the difference. It's better to choose boiled eggs, especially soft-boiled ones. With this method, the protein remains easy to digest, and the yolk stays rich in healthy fats that aren't oxidized by heat. Even better, use a steamer or cook them in the bag. This preserves maximum benefits and minimizes harm. For older people, it's crucial that food is not only tasty but also easy to digest, because how well the stomach works affects not only your energy but also the condition of your brain, joints and even your mood. If you still prepare fried eggs every morning on a scorching skillet with a crispy crust, it's time to reconsider this habit. Sometimes, simply switching frying for boiling can become a small but important step toward a long and healthy life. Second, too much egg white, and nothing good comes of it. Many people think that the more protein, the better. Especially as we age, because protein means muscles, strength, energy. And eggs have plenty of it. Some even deliberately separate the yolks and eat only the whites, believing that it's pure benefit. But here lies one of the most common and dangerous mistakes. Pure egg white is concentrated protein. While it truly contains essential amino acids, if consumed in excess, the body starts to experience overload. Especially if you are over 60, your kidneys are no longer as efficient, your metabolism slows down, filtration worsens, and excess protein becomes a direct burden on the renal system. Too much protein can cause dehydration. You may not feel it as thirst, but inside, your tissues start to lose moisture. As a result, dry skin, fatigue, lower back pain, and blood pressure fluctuations. Older people need not only to get enough protein, but also to maintain balance, and many don't even think about this. Another hidden pitfall is that excess protein can increase uric acid levels in the blood, which means it can trigger gout, joint pain, and swelling. There is even evidence that regularly consuming large amounts of egg whites without the yolk can disrupt the calcium balance in the body, especially in women over 50. Many people are afraid of yolks because of cholesterol, but the truth is that yolks don't just contain cholesterol, they also provide essential fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, as well as lecithin, which actually helps the body break down fats. So, by completely removing the yolk, we deprive ourselves of a whole complex of valuable nutrients that are especially needed as we age. The secret is in balance. 1 or 2 eggs a day are quite acceptable for most older people, especially if they are not fried and are eaten as part of a complete meal. But turning egg whites into the main dish, eating 3 or 4 in a row while excluding the yolk, is already an imbalance. And here's another important point. When a person eats only egg whites, they feel less satisfied. The yolk contains fats that create a sense of fullness, and without them, it's easy to overeat, especially if you follow it up with bread, butter, sausage, and in the end get excess calories, extra weight, and additional strain on the heart. If you're used to eating egg white omelets because you think it's healthier, consider whether it's really benefiting you. Maybe it's worth bringing the yolk back and just reducing the portion size. Your body will thank you, especially as you get older, when every meal is an opportunity to support your health rather than quietly damage it from the inside. Third, combining eggs with the wrong foods and losing all the benefits. Many people think eggs are simple. The main thing is that they're fresh and not overcooked. But do you know where the real trap lies? It's in what you eat with them. Because even a perfectly good egg can turn into something harmful if you pair it with the wrong foods. And this is much more serious than just extra calories. Think of a typical breakfast: fried eggs with bread, butter, sausage, maybe some cheese, or boiled eggs with white bread and a cup of coffee. Sounds tasty, doesn't it? But is it healthy? Especially for older people? Absolutely not, and here's why. When eggs are combined with fast carbohydrates, like white bread, pastries, or sugar, it causes a sharp spike in blood glucose. The body, especially in older people, can't always respond effectively. The pancreas releases insulin in response, and this insulin starts driving the sugar into cells. But the problem is that the sugar doesn't come alone, it arrives together with the fats from the yolk. Now imagine, glucose goes up, insulin goes up, fat enters the bloodstream. The result: increased risk of insulin resistance, overloading your blood vessels, and accumulating visceral fat, the kind that wraps around your internal organs. This is especially dangerous for people with prediabetes or already developed type 2 diabetes. And as we age, insulin sensitivity decreases for most people. It's a natural part of aging. But that's not all. If you eat eggs with sausage, bacon, or cured meats, the situation gets even worse. These products contain huge amounts of sodium, preservatives, and nitrites. Combined with egg protein, they burden the liver and kidneys, intensify inflammation, and can impact blood pressure. This doesn't necessarily happen immediately, it builds up gradually over time. But the consequences can be extremely unpleasant. There's another nuance: coffee. Many people like to have a boiled egg with a cup of strong coffee for breakfast. The problem is that coffee interferes with the absorption of calcium and iron. And as we get older, deficiencies in these micronutrients are among the most common reasons for fatigue, brittle bones and memory decline. It seems like a healthy meal, but because of a single drink, you lose half its benefit. The good news is that all of this can be fixed. The right combinations are eggs with vegetables, greens, low-fat dairy products and whole-grain crisp breads. For example, a boiled egg with a slice of avocado and fresh tomatoes, an omelette with broccoli and spinach, poached eggs with a cucumber salad and a drizzle of olive oil. Such combinations not only improve nutrient absorption but also help maintain normal blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and give you a gentle sense of satiety without heaviness. It's important to understand, food is not just a sum of calories. It's chemistry, it's the interaction of substances. And especially for older people, whose organs no longer recover as quickly, the right combinations don't just matter, they become critical. If you want eggs to truly benefit you, look at what you eat them with. Sometimes, it's not the product itself that's harmful but the company it keeps on your plate. If you change that, you can feel lighter, more energetic and even improve your brain function. Fourth, storing them incorrectly puts your health at risk. Open the fridge, the top shelf, and there are the eggs, neatly arranged in a plastic tray right by the door. A familiar sight. I'm sure that's exactly how 9 out of 10 people store them. It's convenient, easy to grab and looks nice. But convenient doesn't mean correct, and nice doesn't always mean safe. The thing is, eggs are a sensitive product, extremely sensitive. They have a protective coating, a thin film covering the shell. It's almost invisible, but it's precisely what keeps bacteria from penetrating the egg. When we touch eggs with dirty hands, transfer them from the carton to a tray, or wash them under running water before putting them in the fridge, we essentially destroy that protective layer. Without that film, the egg becomes vulnerable, and then it's only a matter of time. Even if it's fresh, even if your fridge works perfectly, bacteria begin their journey inside. And as we age, when our immune system is no longer as strong as it was in youth, even a mild infection can turn into a serious problem. One of the most dangerous bacteria is Salmonella. In younger people, the body can often handle it almost unnoticed, but after 60, it's different. Salmonella infection can cause high fever, diarrhea, dehydration, dizziness, and in people with chronic illnesses, even hospitalization. All because of one improperly stored egg. Remember this simple rule. Never wash eggs until you are about to cook them. Not when you buy them, not before putting them in the refrigerator. Wash them only right before you use them, and cook them immediately. No just in case. Now, about where you store them. The refrigerator door is the warmest place. That's exactly where warm air flows in every time you open it. Temperature fluctuations. There are perfect conditions for bacteria to multiply. Keeping eggs in the door is about as effective as storing medicine on a sunny windowsill. It might look nice, but it's absolutely pointless. The ideal place is the middle shelf, closer to the back wall, where the temperature is most stable. It's best to keep eggs in the original cardboard packaging you bought at the store. Why? First, it absorbs excess moisture and odors. Second, it protects the eggs from impacts. Third, it has the expiration date clearly printed, also not a trivial detail. Now, let's imagine another common scenario. You have leftover boiled eggs. What do most people do? They peel them, put them in a container, stick them in the fridge, and forget about them for a week. Then they take them out, sniff them, seems fine, and eat them, hoping for the best. But in fact, peeled boiled eggs should be stored no longer than 2 days. Anything beyond that is already a risk, especially if the container was in a warm compartment or next to fish, onions, or anything with a strong smell. The egg white absorbs odors instantly and can become a breeding ground for microbes. By the way, here's another interesting point. In some countries, eggs are sold at room temperature, while in others, they are always refrigerated. Why is that? It all depends on whether they have been treated with a special antiseptic coating. In our conditions, it's better to play it safe. Farm eggs bought at the market carry the highest hygiene risks. Without a certificate of inspection, it's best not to take chances, especially if there are elderly people in the household. Eggs are not just a product, they are a living structure, fragile and vulnerable. And if we want to gain benefits rather than problems, we must start not with cooking, but with how we store them. From the packaging to the temperature, every detail matters, especially in older age. Fifth, completely giving up eggs puts your health at risk. Yes, you heard that right. The fifth mistake isn't excess, nor cooking method, nor combinations. It's the opposite, complete exclusion. Many people over 60 decide to remove eggs from the diet entirely, out of fear, because of myths, because of all the scare stories about cholesterol, cardiovascular disease and harmful fats. But the truth is that this step often causes more harm than good. To understand why, we need to look at what an egg actually contains. The yolk is a treasure trove of nutrients, B vitamins, especially B12, which is essential for brain and nervous system function, vitamin D, which is crucial for immunity, especially in older adults, and also choline, a nutrient few have even heard of, which supports brain function, helps prevent memory decline and even lowers the risk of dementia. Now picture an older person who is already experiencing problems with memory, mood and focus. Instead of strengthening their nutrition, they remove eggs, thinking it's safer. In reality, they are making their diet poorer, depriving themselves of substances without which neurons slow down. This isn't just a theoretical threat, it's something doctors around the world see in practice. Now let's address cholesterol, the main fear. Yes, eggs do contain cholesterol, but over the last 20 years, science has made an important discovery. Dietary cholesterol has little effect on blood cholesterol levels in most people. The body regulates this process itself. If we eat less cholesterol, the liver simply produces more and vice versa. So limiting eggs does not solve the cholesterol problem if it already exists. But the benefits of eggs are real and tangible, especially in moderate amounts. 1 or 2 eggs a day are not only safe for most people but help maintain vascular health, support energy levels and prevent muscle loss, a problem nearly all older adults face. Speaking of muscles, egg protein is the gold standard. It is almost completely absorbed and is used as the reference for evaluating other proteins. As we age and digestion becomes less efficient, and protein from meat or fish is absorbed worse, eggs become an irreplaceable source. When someone deliberately gives them up, they aren't just cutting out a product, they're losing a key tool for maintaining strength and activity. And that's not all. Eggs contain lutein and zeaxanthin, compounds that protect vision. With age, not only memory but eyesight also deteriorates. Everyone knows this. The risk of cataracts and age-related macular degeneration increases. Lutein and zeaxanthin help slow these processes, and they are found specifically in the yolk. By removing eggs, people deprive themselves of natural protection for their eyes. It's a paradox. Those who completely cut out eggs do so out of fear for their heart, brain, and vessels, yet in practice, they lose precisely the protection for these systems. Because an egg isn't just protein and fat, it's a balanced formula created by nature. If used wisely, without fanaticism and without mistakes, it can become an ally in longevity, not an enemy. Of course, everything must be in moderation. No one is suggesting you eat 6 eggs a day. But excluding them completely is like throwing away the most important vitamin complex from your medicine cabinet, especially in old age, when deficiencies accumulate quickly and are replenished slowly. If you've long since crossed eggs off your menu, it might be worth reconsidering this decision, not for the taste, but for your health. Sometimes, a single egg a day isn't about food. It's about an investment in a clear mind, strong bones and steady energy for years to come. It often seems that health is something complicated: pills, tests, restrictive diets, endless prohibitions. But the truth is that everything begins with a simple breakfast, a plate and the way we handle familiar foods like the humble egg. Eggs can be incredibly beneficial. They can support memory, vision, muscles, and immunity. They can provide energy and satiety without harm, but only if you handle them properly, not frying them on a scorching pan, not combining them with heavy foods, not denying yourself the yolk out of fear of cholesterol, not storing them carelessly, and most importantly, not excluding them altogether. Each of the mistakes I've described today may seem trivial at first glance. But it's precisely these trifles that add up to your health in old age, not in a day, not in a week, but step by step, either toward decline or toward a clear mind, stable blood pressure, and a sense of lightness that doesn't depend on age. Many things we can't change, time passes, the body ages. But how we eat, which habits we choose, how we cook and combine our food, this is in our hands. And sometimes one conscious decision, one small change, can improve how you feel more than a handful of pills ever could. So don't ignore these simple truths. Approach your breakfast as an important ritual, not out of fear, but out of love for yourself, your body and your life. Because taking care of your health isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. And every one of us deserves to feel better, even if the calendar no longer says 30 but 60 or 70. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about things that truly matter, without medical jargon but with respect for your age, experience, and resilience. And don't forget to share this video with those who may need it. Sometimes, a single piece of knowledge can protect health. Take care of yourself. We still have so much time ahead.